Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. If it's your first time here, feel free to put in the comments where you're coming from. If you have any questions, feel free to put that in comments or to direct message me as well. And if you have a topic you'd like to hear covered in an upcoming Mindful Monday, same thing, you can put it in comments or direct message me. And so also, if you're new or unaware of it, if you type mindful in the comments or direct message mindful to us, then that will set you up to receive our weekly Mindful Monday cheat sheet, which is a PDF of everything we cover. It comes out the following Sunday evening. So today's you would receive next Sunday evening. All right, so today we are here to talk about how to use metaphor to shift our thinking. So metaphor is a story that you tell someone using symbolism in order to convey a message. So many of us learn and speak in metaphor quite often, and we particularly tend to do this when something is very unpleasant and we want to convey the experience to someone else. For instance, I have this stabbing pain in my chest is the use of metaphor, like a stabbing. Okay? So metaphors can also be useful in helping others to change and in creating shifts within ourselves. So master hypnotic trainer Mike Mandel says that there are 3 types of therapeutic metaphor, at least that he teaches. And so the first one would be considered general metaphor, and this is going to be a story that you can tell almost anyone in any context, and it'll have some form of a beneficial effect on the listener. So there's that old story, for example, of it's a child, sometimes it's a boy, sometimes it's a girl, but there's a child and she's walking along the beach and she sees all these starfish and they're, dying because they're on the sand. The tide has gone out. So she starts walking down the beach and throwing the starfish back in one at a time, and someone tells her, oh, you'll never, be able to save the starfish. It's not going to make any difference. And she says it made a difference to the one that she just tossed back. So that would be a general metaphor, because almost anyone is going to take some kind of message to that anything they do can create a change or, have something. Hello, Bianca. And so the second one is going to be isomorphic metaphor. And this is a slightly more specific story that is not going to work, obviously, in any specific context. It's only going to work for someone. So, for instance, if someone is always rushing through their life, you might kind of tell the old tale of the tortoise and the hare to see if they get that, things can still be effective if they slow down. So the third type of metaphor is called a nested loop metaphor. And so this is used more in hypnosis, but it's basically stories within stories, and there can be suggestions, direct suggestions perhaps embedded within some of the stories. So now that one is more a hypnotic kind of metaphor, but you don't have to be a hypnotist to use metaphor to affect change. So this is because allowing folks to draw their own meaning without explaining a metaphor can be very powerful and very empowering. People don't really like quite often to be told what to do, but if they get the impression that they're kind of discovering it on themselves, it's empowering, and then they're more likely to make some changes on their own. That being said, you can even create metaphoric shifts for yourself by noticing where you utilize metaphor. Because usually it's, like I said, a stabbing pain in my chest is something negative, and then you can use your imagination, which is really hypnosis, to create a more positive metaphor that represents what you do want. So I remember a long time ago, I was experiencing this sense of anxiety, and I described it as like this black hole kind of in my solar plexus. And so when this was taught to me, someone suggested, well, what would feel better than that black hole? And I was like, well, just about anything. They're like, well, could you be more specific? So I kind of closed my eyes and took a few breaths. And I was like, yeah, black hole, not so good. But I was like kind of envisioning or feeling this sunshine kind of radiating out positivity and warmth. And so just using our imagination and creating a new metaphor can really affect some changes within, because we kind of tend to, when we create a metaphor, it's something that's going on in our background mind. It's our story. It becomes our personal story. So we're telling it to other people, we're repeating it to ourselves, and that has an effect too. Another example is I had a friend who was having, and I believe she's called it a stabbing pain in her hip socket, and she went on to kind of transform that to imagining, I think it was blue cotton candy surrounding her hip joint. And that created a shift from the pain into more comfort and ease in her day. So that is what we have to say about metaphor today. I hope that was useful to you, and have a wonderful Mindful Monday. Thanks so much.